I don't want to help ACT, but their social media game is so bad.
Oh, they think they're so good, though.
Oh, God, it is so bad. So today, ACT releases the full 42 minutes of the interview that Seymour did with John Campbell a wee while ago. And look at some of the comments in here. It's so good to see the whole interview. It's easy to see how easily they would have edited to suit various agendas. So refreshing at many levels. Campbell hates losing control of the editing. Well played, Mr. Seymour. It's great seeing the whole uncut interview. John Campbell constantly going for gotcha questions rather than informing interview. Another overall pathetic public servant. Let me say this. This is kind of something towards the end. This whole interview is on the TVNZ website. I can show it to you. Look, there it is. 43 minutes. The whole thing is there. And guess what? It's better because both of them are mic'd. Nothing is hidden. It's there. We're going to listen to some of ACT's version of it. And ACT has the worst tech. He's got those DJI mics like I use, but he hasn't got a fluffy head on it. So you hear it going like this. The whole time underneath his tie or wherever, up his ass, wherever he's got it stuck. I don't know. But the other thing, here's something that I'm going to show you as we go through. ACT today publicised this whole 43 minutes. They leave in the whole 43 some of the things that TVNZ took out for time that makes David Seymour look so much worse. So ACT has this narrative about, look, we're going to show the whole thing because they're going to edit it badly and make me look bad. They took out so much stuff that makes him look terrible, and they left it in. So all of a sudden, TVNZ, these evil guys trying to make me look bad, actually made him look better in the 11-minute clip that probably, if we're honest, 90% of people saw on the TVNZ website. ACT put out the video, and they included all the stuff that makes him look really, really bad. And when I say really bad, I mean historically hypocritical. You will love this.
Howdy.
How are you?
Not too bad.
This is all a bit weird. I want to play this because you want to see. So there's this thing going on called David versus the media. It's a thing ACT does. And he is always performing for his own camera. Always.
Yeah.
Like always for his own camera. The person here who is disingenuous is David Seymour. Watch how he starts this conversation. And John Campbell's a bit like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Sorry. Thank you. I gather you were surprised we'd accept the interview.
I didn't say that.
I gather you used the C word in reference to how we were supposed to.
So John Campbell's done something like being self-deprecating, and he talks about it here to the press secretary. He's going, I thought David Seymour I was a bit of a cunt. You know, he said something like that, obviously in jest, and now David Seymour's making something of it like it's a big thing. He's performing for his own social media.
Regard you.
I don't think I did that.
Oh, fair enough. Maybe it was a misunderstanding.
Have you just come out of Parliament?
Yeah.
And what happened?
Well,
surprise, the debate was adjourned.
And this is the debate on the privileges for the 21 days.
Yep. So the debate's adjourned. It'll come back in a few weeks, and in the meantime, we have a budget to pass.
Yeah.
So, you just want me here?
Yeah, that'd be fantastic.
Cool.
Nice to see you.
You too, John.
Thank you. What was that? What was that about? What was that little arrival about?
Well, I was just surprised to hear from my staff that you'd said that word. I mean, I know.
Pardon my pearls. You said a naughty word, John Campbell. That means you're a shill for Jacinda. Like, honestly, what is this? And this goes on for a little while, a couple more minutes, but there is a part of this, Chewie, which is historic hypocrisy.
I know you've been surpassed more recently, but I just found it interesting.
It was, yeah. So are you playing to Andy here? Was that for social media?
No.
Are you playing Andy?
Spotted!
I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Spotted!
I think what I tend to do now when I'm asking for interviews, because people aren't always pleased to hear from you. Be reasonably self-deprecating. I think that would be a fair description of how I approach this moment.
So that is what you said.
I can't remember.
Oh, okay, right. But it's plausible.
What point is he trying to score, Chewie? Like, what is he actually trying to? What's he trying to do? I mean, yes, he's playing for his camera, but I don't understand what narrative he's trying to put out there. Like, honestly, it's like, what are you saying? He's now, you're undermining him because he used a swear word about himself. Like, what are you actually trying to do here? It's bizarre.
I think what it is if you can score some sort of point, no matter how confusing it is.
Yeah.
Like if you go, so you say, so it's plausible then.
Yeah.
So it's a yes. It's a pointless point, but it's a point to him nonetheless.
Yeah.
Like
what John Campbell's mean, like no one in the country would believe. Like everybody's uncle.
I'll tell you right now, every broadcaster that can't swear on air swears like a fucking sailor when they're off air.
All right, we're going to keep going because there's one really particular point here, and I've said it 3 times now. Historically high levels of hypocrisy.
Even so, it's plausible. I think what I do is I tend to go in and give people the right to say.
And you know what I think? I mean, I've actually sent John a message. I've never heard back from him, so he might not get them. I wanted him to come on and see what he thought about this. I reckon John Campbell's gone, okay, you want to play that game? Let me just drop something here. I think, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Which I would think was a position. Was that the position I was coming
from?
Well,
people already have the right, though. I mean, you needn't give it. You needn't give them the right. They already have it.
Yeah. And you said yes. I really appreciate it.
Oh, of course, John. We're very available, despite what people may have said or written before.
Is he?
We show up.
Is he?
You don't want to report, though, do you? Why is that?
Well,
You just missed that, though, bro. You got to hear this because John Campbell says you don't go on morning report. Right. This is a big part of it.
People may have said or written before. We show up.
You don't do morning report, though, do you?
Don't do morning report.
Mainly because of their off-air behaviour, and their highly selective choice of stories. Sorry, mate.
Okay.
Hang on, there's my phone. Look, I think the thing with those guys, so there were basically 3 issues. One was that when we did what we regard as really important, serious stuff, like unleashing an alternative budget, they just weren't interested.
Yeah.
Second of all, a lot of the young staff were very rude.
Yeah.
And thirdly, they'd get me on for one thing, because they'd actually basically lie about what they wanted us on for, and then start asking me about something else. And I said, look, if you've just said, you know. So then I thought, well, gee, I actually don't need this in my life. And over that time that I've refused to go on, we've gone gangbusters. They've gone like that, and I've maintained a really good relationship with everyone else at Radio New Zealand, who I generally like. So it's up.
So here's stage 1. So he doesn't go on morning report, and there was all that bullshit. I wanted just people to show, because we're not gonna get him if I keep saying this, but I'll keep saying it. He is a little bitch, right? But let's look at the hypocrisy. He doesn't do morning report. Chewie, do you remember, Chewie, back in the day, there was a time where Jacinda Ardern wouldn't do Mike Hosking?
I remember that very clearly.
Do you remember that time when Jacinda Ardern didn't actually say she wouldn't do it, but she'd come on it like when it was needed? Remember that time that she wouldn't do one of the 2 biggest breakfast radio shows in the country? Do you remember potentially what David Seymour said about that? Let's go and have a look. The headline for the article: Axe David Seymour lashes out at escalating arrogance of Jacinda Ardern dumping weekly talk with Mike Hosking. A few of the highlights: Jacinda Ardern will ultimately regret this escalating arrogance. The latest example being cancelling her weekly discussion with Newstalk ZB's Mike Hosking. Escalating arrogance. It joins a long list of increasingly hubristic moves from the Prime Minister and her government. Seymour said Ardern was avoiding answering questions by deplatforming herself from Newstalk ZB.
Deplatforming herself.
Seymour said it looks to be government, quote unquote, arrogance and is getting in the way of problem solving. His comments come after National leader Judith Collins also criticised the move, accusing Ardern of not liking hard questions. So Ardern was missing it because she didn't want to do hard questions, but Seymour's skipping morning report because they were mean to me and they said some rude things. This is what Seymour said. You can't paint yourself as the paragon of democratic virtue. I'll change this word for Mr. Seymour. You can't paint yourself as the paragon of free speech and then not walk the talk. Not if you want to stay in favour with voters. Finally, from Mike Hoskins, I think, often critical of the government, Hoskins said late last year people misunderstood his relationship with Ardern, and despite often fiery interviews, he actually likes her a lot. It's our work, Hoskins said in December. It's what we do. There's nothing personal in it. But the radio host said on Monday, Ardern was, quote, running for the hills and, quote, is over being held to account. So, Mr. Seymour, one must assume that you are running for the hills and are over being held to account. Can you believe, I've got some other things to play through, but before, please, free reign. Can you believe this little bitch refuses to go on Morning Report when 3 years ago, he was very clear, the undemocratic height of arrogance of Jacinda Ardern for not going on News Talk ZB. As I said, historic levels hypocrisy. We comes with receipts, Chewie.
Oh, I'm shocked. I'm shocked at the level of arrogance, hypocrisy, bullshit narrative, being a coward, saying that he's available. It's all nonsense. And this, I love the fact that John Campbell has absolutely clocked exactly what he's doing within less than a minute of talking with him. I'm like, oh yeah, here's what's up. Here's the other hint I have for you, David. If you're going to conceal a microphone, do it somewhere better. It sounds like fucking garbage, mate. It sounds like you're wearing it internally. It's so dumb.
Hey, there's one more thing. Let me get to this. So here's the first thing. Remember, that conversation around Morning Report, not in the 11-minute article. ACT put that out and enabled me to see it and go, hang on. So thanks, ACT, for putting this piece of content out there, for allowing us to demonstrate the unbelievable hypocrisy David Seymour is comfortable to live with. Here's another clip, Chewie, that TVNZ did not put in their 11 minutes. Do you know the whole thing around the 23,000 submissions for the last round of the Refusal? Well, in this clip, John Campbell embarrasses the crap out of him because David Seymour tries to say that 23,000 submissions is a pretty good sort of feel of the community, to which John Campbell says very quickly, but you say they're all bots. So he's trying to use the number 23,000 when he wants to say we've had good coverage from the country. But when it comes up not in his favour, he just says they're all bots. And guess what TVNZ did with this incredibly incriminating, embarrassing part of the interview? They left it out of the edit. I thought the only reason these guys edited was to make these guys look bad. The only one that's made ACT look bad in this conversation is ACT. Have a quick listen.
In the Law Society's view, it is striking that a policy protest purporting to promote good lawmaking and high-quality regulation should fail to meet the proposal's own standards.
Okay. I have no idea what they mean by that.
So they mean inadequate consultation?
Right. So we had, you can't say we had 23,000 people write in and consultations inadequate.
I thought they were spam emails.
No, there are also a number of quite serious ones. Some substantial people who consulted.
Were they serious ones spam email or not?
Well, the difference is if it's somebody saying, I oppose this bill because someone told me to, that's spam. Right. If it's someone who writes a lengthy and detailed submission on whether they think this is a good policy or whether there's a different way to solve the problem, there was that too.
So there you go. Seymour both saying that it was a very good sign that we had 23,000 submissions, but also they're bots when we don't want to talk about only 0.3% went my way. TVNZ didn't show that clip. I mean, it's on the TVNZ website because contrary to Mr. Seymour's claims that they want to put this out there so everybody can see the full interview is there. Oh, sorry, I got it too far, haven't I? There, right there. This is the full interview.
On Gangbusters,
and look,
I've gone like that.
Much better quality.
And I've maintained a really good relationship with everyone else at Radio New Zealand, who I generally like. So it's up to them to change.
It's a good gallery team at Radio New Zealand.
So there you go. So it's just David Seymour is a little bitch. The right project what they're actually doing. He is the snowflake. The right are the ones. I mean, like, if anyone can talk about snowflakes with confidence, it's people in the Lower South Island right now. Fair? And I just want us to stay on this. I just want us to point out again and again and again. And let's just talk about ACT for a second, as I'm about to throw it across to you, Chewie, and talk about how there are so many things you're about to see with Jack Tame where ACT say, we want to do it this way. And they go, but your legislation says you're not allowed to do it that way. Oh, yeah, other people aren't allowed to do it that way, but we want to do it this way. And it's just more examples of it again and again and again. Chewie.
I do not like this narrative that has come out of David very recently, that there seems to be a yardstick of quality before he'll consider a submission.
Yeah.
The submissions process is an often ignored part of our democracy. There is no yardstick for a quality of a submission. Anybody can do it. It can be handwritten. It can be submitted through the website. It can be a fucking fax. It doesn't matter. It's a part of our democracy that's available for any citizen to do. Well, anybody in the country or outside of it. There's nothing that says that you need to be a learned professor or an expert in the field.
In fact, it's good to have the opposite to that person you've just described. In other words, getting a full representation of everybody, whether you're learned and can use 4-syllable words or whether it's all 2-syllable words because you're not quite as smart, but it's still very clear. We should have a broad range of submissions.
Removing opportunities for people to express their opinion into their democracy does not make our democracy stronger. Now, ACT and its supporters and David Seymour will often wax lyrical about the strengths of Western democracy and the democratic process and that sort of thing. And again, I want to call out this hypocrisy as the benefit of more political donations than the left. That weakens our democracy. As a party that is comprised of so many former lobbyists and benefits from the actions of other lobbyists, they weaken our democracy. Putting a yardstick up for a submission that earns his respect somehow weakens our democracy.
Yeah.
The fact that he will attack our public broadcaster and put a yardstick there that they need to clear for him to come on the show weakens our democracy. It all lines up. All you have to do for a submission is say that you like it or you don't, that it should go to the House or it should be dismissed, and why you think it should be. And it could be like, I don't like what it's doing to the country. I don't think it respects tangata whenua enough. It can be as short as that. Or you could be that learned professor that will come on and present their views forcefully, backed up with everything they've got for 10 minutes. There is no difference in that. And his side is quite happy to use submission mailing lists in the past as a tool of putting things towards what they want.
As our taxpayers
but now
union.
it's against them Taxpayers Union,
Groundswell,
Hobson's Choice,
Groundswell, Hobson's Pledge. Yeah, all do it.
All of those guys have all done this in the past, and now when it's so massively against him, where he's clearly huffed his own farts to the point where he believes what he's saying, that the people are with him, because I checked the ACT Facebook comments, and everybody's with us on this, and has been so dramatically shown that he's wrong, that he's spawned an incredibly motivated political movement to push against this poisonous piece of policy that he has tried 3 other times before and failed. Now there is a yardstick that, not every Muppet can have an opinion on this. And they're fake, and they're apparently bots, which, again, that doesn't make any sense either. A bot suggests that it's an automated, inauthentic opinion, not that it's a lot of people putting in maybe a short opinion.
Yeah. I mean, it also just, now think back to those comments I read at the beginning, all the supporters on their Facebook page, the YouTube page, going,
Are they
it's
all
amazing.
authentic?
It's amazing. You guys show them. And that's something else I didn't show it, but in the, I'm going to be fair to ACT, because I am always fair, but in the interview they talked about him and John. I don't know if it was in the final interview or a bit of a throwaway, because I watched the whole thing to make sure I was covered. They talked about, John was like, how John talks. How many views do you get? And he goes, on a good video, 250,000. They've got about 500 videos on the ACT YouTube channel. 2 of them have over 250,000. 2. Now, the point where I would be fair is, I don't know how much they do on Facebook, so maybe there's more than that. But we did find this last week when they said that they basically he walks over the tiles and they slap something up later and he gets 20 to 30,000 views, and they don't. The odd one does. The majority of them get thousands. Like, we're not saying that we get more views than they do. They get thousands. But he actively lied last week, and he says to John Campbell in this conversation, a good video do 250,000 on YouTube. 2 out of, it might even be 700. 2 have had more than 250,000 views. So we'll just keep an eye on that. Anyway,
the other thing I want to say here is this is the second time that ACT social media team have done this. Because remember when they put up that bit with Mihi before he goes out on the tiles?
Yep.
And they put that up as a huge fucking win.
Yep.
And it was just Seymour being an utter dingus, getting massively railroaded and ambushed by Mihi.
Yeah.
So they don't know when they're winning, which is great.
I mean,
keep
in
doing
that
it. Good job.
In that conversation as well, Seymour said to John Campbell, "Oh, you're a superstar on our YouTube channel, meaning you're so terrible that you give us lots of fodder." Like, can I just suggest to you, please, ACT social media team, ditto, keep it up. You guys are doing fucking sterling work for us. Brilliant.